So you're doing Nofap and you find it hard to not relapse, or maybe you just relapsed and you're thinking by yourself, why did I do that? When I stopped watching porn 6 years ago, I have to be honest, I also relapsed 2 times in the 6 months afterwards. And a lot of people are thinking, I should just be able to stop it like that. But it's not that easy. And when you have these thoughts, it's so important to understand what's actually happening, because if you understand what's happening inside of you, it's much easier to stop, and you also don't blame yourself so quickly when it happens, and you just continue. So have a look at this loop. But first I want to say that if you're interested in more videos on this topic, or in videos about spiritual growth and personal growth, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new here. And then to go to the loop. So I got this loop once from a psychologist, and it has helped me in so many different situations to break through habits, and also just to understand how I work better. And you can even go much deeper into the mind, but I try to keep it fairly simple so that it's just easy to understand. So if you look at this loop, you have here thinking, feeling, doing, and reaction. And if you, for instance, have watched porn over and over again, and it's a habit, you will have already a loop between your thinking and your feeling. So what happens is, we first have a thought, and that thought could be, I want to watch porn. Because you have thought this so often, there's a feeling attached to it. So the thought gives a feeling, and that could be that urge to watch it, or thinking that it's going to give a short satisfaction. But because you have watched it probably over and over again, it just triggers something, and a feeling inside of us. And that feeling, it's interesting because that's going to trigger a thought again. So it can be, I can just watch it one time, or it has never harmed me. And that triggers a feeling again, maybe of a certain moment. And so we're in this loop of a thought and feeling. And this thought and the feeling triggers us in doing something. In this case, watching porn. So we didn't want to watch porn, but because we're so used to it, we get the feeling, I want to watch porn. It gives a feeling. We go, and then at one point we think, who cares? I just do it one time. Gives a feeling. And normally that feeling gives a reaction. Well, in the past it might have given, for instance, the reaction a short satisfaction, or whatever it was. When I noticed it very well, what my reaction was on porn was first maybe a short satisfaction, but then afterwards I never felt really good and satisfied. And that triggers it again. It could also be here the reaction of your brain on the short satisfaction, releasing dopamine. If you're addicted to porn, it triggers these circuits. And the next time, and there we go again, and we think. It could also be that now your reaction is one of, I should have not done it, or whatever, and then it makes you think now in, I'm a failure, I should have never done this, gives you a bad feeling, it makes you feel even worse about yourself. I want to go into that for a moment, because if you just relapsed or already relapsed once, please don't see it as a failure. Look, it is pretty hard to break out of this circle. I'm gonna in a moment explain how. But if you have had this habit for a very long time of watching porn, it is so easy to relapse and go into it. So we really need to know what we're actually facing at and what we have to do. And do you know, my theory is that failures don't exist, only lessons and growth. So you can even say, okay, I'm gonna get now, because of this happened, more aware, and try to forgive yourself if you feel like it's a failure. Just go and sit and just put your hands on your heart and say to yourself, I forgive myself. I've loved myself. Thank you. And keep it repeating it. So if you want now to break through the circle, because you've done maybe watched so often, it's such a habit that this will repeat and repeat and repeat. So a relapse is quite easily done, I would say. So what we have to do is first of all getting aware of our own loop. Because if you're aware of what you think and what you feel and what you then do, you are much more capable of stopping it right in the beginning when it happens again. So what is the thought that you're feeling? What is the feeling that you get with it? And when you know that, next time you can much quicker interrupt in that circle of thinking and feeling. And then we have to consciously think about what we want to actually think anew. So we have to make a new loop. And with that, we also make a new habit. So we have to think about what is a new thought that I want to think. For instance, I am great in stopping with watching it, or I have control over my own behavior. And we have to think what kind of feeling we want to feel with it. So for instance, confidence or joy or empowerment, but just think of a feeling that you want to feel with it, an emotion. And then it's repetition. To get a new habit into us, into our subconscious mind, it's repetition. And just start repeating all day long what you want to believe, what you want to put into you. And say it over and over time. I, for instance, when I want to believe something new, I stand in front of the mirror in the morning. I look myself in the eyes and I say it to myself. I write it down because it triggers other parts of our brain. And so by repetition, we can make the new loop. So we have a new thought, we have a new feeling. That new thought and that new feeling let us do something on a different way. For instance, in this case, not watch porn. And that gives a different reaction. And then we think again in that same way. But so repetition to make a new loop. And when you have done that, yeah, it's just, then it's just time when you keep doing that till you stop with the habit that you want to stop, for instance, watching porn. And I believe that already knowing how it actually works can make such a big difference on not only watching porn, but on a lot of different situations in your life that you actually don't like because you know now what happens. So I hope that this video helped you getting the relapses under control. If you ever have one, don't blame yourself. Just learn and then grow and become more aware of what you do and how you work inside. If you liked the video, I would be so pleased if you write a comment or like the video. If you want to have more videos on personal growth, subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in a future video. And I wish you an amazing day.